Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. I think I told everybody hi in chat. Let me do a double check. I think I got everybody. I'm trying to get into chat earlier so that way I don't tie up half the show telling everyone hi. Mama K says, wow, love the intro. Yeah, what do y'all think about the new intro? I'm trying out different things just to keep us on our toes, Lisa says, hello, good people. Harmony is adorable. Yeah, isn't she though? Odd that Teardrop and Stepmeth couldn't mention to anybody that she had been missing since November of 2019. But of course, we're going to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about that. Let me grab my notes. So on the last show, we spoke about, again, Teardrop's trail of destruction. His girlfriend, the woman that he was living in the car with, Kelsey, was found dead. We don't know if it's an overdose or what happened. We don't know what happened to her. That she had been in a sober living facility. She relapsed and she was found deceased in a hotel. So we talked about it on the last show. More trail of destruction. Teardrop never lets us down. The name of the show should have been Oops, Teardrop Did It Again. Because this dude could screw up a wet dream. You name it. Lisa said, Chris said overdose. I have not read anything about any autopsy being released, but if it's Chris McDonough, I will definitely believe it. So real quick, I'm going to go through comments from the last show. Just give me a second. If I can find the stuff. Glasses would help, huh? Okay, Robin said, Teardrop's life had changed with food stamps and benefits. Addicts are selfish. They don't recall memories as we would. He probably didn't mention children's names and facts, etc. He hooked up with a broken, homeless Kelsey. They would have been looking to score and where to go for their next free meal. This would have been their main focus. I believe Kelsey didn't know anything about Harmony, and during her sobering up, probably looked into the backstory of Harmony and may have spiraled mentally, got a hit to cope, and OD'd. What do you guys think about that? Because I agree with what Robin is saying. I definitely do. That's very telling. I got to turn my comments back on. I want to hear from you guys because I think that makes more sense than anything. So think about it. Her life, Kelsey's life, not her entire life, but since meeting Teardrop, had been looking for their next score, where they're going to eat. She sees him get arrested out of the car. They drag his ass out of the car and take him off to the pokey. And as she starts looking into the disappearance of Harmony Montgomery, slowly realizes that she's been living in the car for over a year with the possible murderer. We at least know, with what he's charged with, that he definitely was abusive to Harmony. We know that much. So what Robin says makes perfect sense to me. Something made her go into rehab and go to the sober living facility. So imagine coming out of that and you need something to cope, because remember, she has a disease. She's an addict. She's addicted to what? I don't know what she was addicted to. So she's got to cope with what she has learned, she's been living with, that the police do want to talk to her. As they said, they were hoping that she would have some information that would help them. And then she goes to a hotel and she overdoses. What do you guys think? Sarah says, in my opinion, the judge that decided to bypass the child services investigation is the main reason Harmony assumed to be dead. In no way was her father fit to have her. There are steps meant to protect children in these cases, and to bypass them and hand over a child to a dangerous person, no matter if that person is one of their parents, is wrong and will cause more harm to the child. Exactly, and it did. They did not wait on the proper verification of what was supposed to be happening on the other side, didn't even dig enough into his past to realize this judge, who was on his way to retiring, to even realize what he was handing Harmony over to. I bet he realizes now. You saw him run his ass back in the house when the media was trying to talk to him. Betty, she says, love the nicknames, Brooks. They're all disgusting. They're all arrested on smaller charges. Kayla on drugs. She's either scared of him or involved. We're going to talk about Kayla. We're going to talk about Kayla because I have a very hard time believing Kayla is not involved, or she would have been singing like a canary by now. She doesn't want to sit in jail. The prosecutor even said she's not talking to us because she knows what we're about to find out. She knows. She knows what we're going to find out. So before I get into Teardrop's next dilemma, do you think Adam is responsible for Harmony's disappearance all by himself, or that him and Kayla are somehow involved in on this together? You can either just put Teardrop or Teardrop and Stepmeth. While you're doing that, I'm going to put up the clip about what Teardrop has been up to in the last week. Hang on. All right, hang on. Both together. Teardrop, but she knows. Teardrop and Stepmom. Susie, I think Teardrop did it and Kayla covered up after the fact. That's where I'm leaning to. There is a big reason that Stepmeth will not say anything. There is a big reason. And don't let us forget right there. They're offering both of them part of the reward. I think it's up to like $150,000 now. She only needs $5 to get out of jail. That'd give her $144,000. Well, it says part of the reward. And we know why Teardrop isn't talking. Why isn't she? She's only in there for welfare fraud. $5,000 cash bond. That's all she needs. 5,000 cash money, can get out. So why is Stepmeth not saying anything? They even said 2 o'clock in the morning. They are more than willing to talk to them at any time. Even offering them, they could qualify for part of the reward depending on what they tell them. She can tell a lot. She can tell a lot. She can tell a lot. But the problem is, no amount of money is going to buy her her freedom for the rest of her life. For the rest of her life. I see some new names in here. Hit that sub button. Hit the sub button. All right, so I'm going to start this. This is what Teardrop's been up to.
I'm confident there's still more to learn about her, and the people with that information should come forward.
Tonight, confidence and optimism are bringing new energy to the search for Harmony Montgomery in the wake of new elevated weapons charges against her father, Adam Montgomery.
As recently as last week, in the investigation into the firearms theft, information.
Let's stop it right there. You know how we do around here. Around the time that Harmony disappeared, Teardrop was stealing weapons. Now, I know there's a lot of chatter like, why did he need weapons? Why did he need them? I don't know if he pawned them or what was going on. I have no idea. I would love to know when they nabbed him out of the car he was living in, if there was any weapons in there. He is a felon. Felons cannot be in possession of weapons.
Information was learned about the Harmony Montgomery case that is considered very important information.
Multiple agencies, including the U.S. Marshal's Office and ATF, joined Manchester police in tracking down a stolen rifle and...
Well, Teardrop, you really stepped in a big pile of shit now, because the ATF and the U.S. Marshals are now involved. Huh. You've done it this time, buddy. U.S. Marshals, these could be federal weapons charges considering you're a felon. And who knows, he probably stole them in another state. This is not just going to go away. They're trying to find everything they can on Teardrop to keep him in for as long as possible. From what I'm gathering, they don't have to look too far. It just kind of seems like everything Teardrop touches turns out to be a huge problem.
Shotgun in 2019, allegedly by Adam Montgomery between September 29th and October 3rd.
Okay, so hang on. I've got to look at this again. I've already watched it, but you know how it goes.
October 3rd.
I got to slow this down. Give me a second, guys. These newscasters talk so dadgum fast, and they know the story. We don't know the story. They tracked down a stolen rifle and a shotgun in 2019. So it's between September 29th and October 3rd. Harmony goes missing at the end of November. Help me put all this together, guys. Help me put this together. He is a pile. Remember the movie Jurassic Park where they were digging through the Triceratops poop? Teardrop's bigger than that.
One was recovered in Boston, the other in Manchester.
There's a third.
Boston. Okay, so Manchester's in New Hampshire. Guess we can figure out now why the ATF and U.S. Marshals are involved. Here we go.
Firearm that was involved, but it's unknown where that is.
The new arrest involves 8.
So there's a third firearm that's involved. They don't. How do they know he stole all these weapons? I wonder if someone came forward and said, hey, he was at my house. The next thing you know, guns were gone. Or if they came up at a pawn shop and he's the one that sold them. Let's see if they tell us.
Charges. 2 for career armed criminal in possession of firearms that bring mandatory sentences of 10 to 40 years if...
I bet he gets 40 years. They want to keep him away forever in case they can't find Harmony and can't get Harmony's disappearance indicted in front of a grand jury, as we talked about on the last show. Okay, so Teardrop, they just called him a career felon. That's not supposed to be in possession of weapons anyway. You just can't tell Teardrop no, though. He is so against societal norms. It's really no wonder we're at where we're at. This guy is going to do whatever he wants to do. I got to back this up. This is a lot of information, guys. Especially where they say he is a career felon.
By Adam Montgomery between September 29th and October 3rd. One was recovered in Boston, the other in Manchester.
There's a third firearm that was involved, but it's unknown where that is.
The new arrest involves 8 charges. 2 for career armed criminal in possession of firearms that bring mandatory sentences of 10 to 40 years if convicted. But perhaps more importantly, the investigation yielded new sources of information about the missing child.
Thank God. Okay, so they're digging into these weapons that he stole. So obviously we know where he was at between September 29th and October 3rd. She went missing, according to Grand Meth, between the 30th and December 6th. She was very adamant about those dates, even though she won't say more. She won't say more about it. We're going to get into that in a minute because a lot of people want to revisit the Grand Meth episode. All right, so they're saying that coming across these stolen weapons, knowing that he did this, I still want to know if the dude pawned them or what he did. These people have a way of making money. That it's brought out more information about Harmony. That's the only silver lining we have here, Teardrop.
Yes, I do believe people out there have information that would be beneficial. We're treating this as a rescue mission. And like I said, we're investigating every lead, every source of information there is.
Okay, he says they're treating this as a rescue mission. Now, as you know, in other cases that we have discussed, they go from looking for a missing child a rescue, they go to just calling it just a search. We're just doing a search now. It seems to me that they believe she could be alive somewhere. I certainly hope so. What do you guys think about that statement he said?
Adam Montgomery has been in the Valley Street jail just down the road here since January on a felony assault charge against his daughter Harmony that dates back to 2019. He's due in court on these new weapons charges on Wednesday. Harmony's stepmother, Kayla Montgomery, also in Valley Street jail. She's due in court this week as well as the continuation of the charges of welfare fraud progress through the court system. We're live in Manchester this evening. Amy Cavino, WMUR News 9.
Those two, they are so sick. So it's a recovery mission. No, he said rescue. They seem to think that she's alive somewhere. They think that's what it sounds like to me, which would be good news. All right, before I get to the next link, I'm going to open the panel. If anybody wants to come up and discuss this, because I think this is a lot of information. Mama Kay, you're right. Sounds like it, and we hope for it. And we hope for it. So also in the last week, was it this week? I got to look. There's a new search for Harmony. That's always, well, I say good to hear. You know what I mean. Hold on, let me pull this. Muted myself. Hello, Audrey. And I think I saw my buddy Lip Lock No More in here. Hey, Deb, what do you think about the new charges against Teardrop?
Well, I think it's great, and I think if it brings leads to Harmony being alive, that would be awesome. Of course, you know, if she's not, well, at least she'd be laid to rest. But I mean, if she is, that would be great. I mean, it sounds optimistic, doesn't it?
Well, he says rescue mission. They're treating it as a rescue mission right now, and he's saying these weapons charges. Teardrop. And remember, they're going to find more stuff.
Oh
because
yeah.
she's been missing for 2 years. You know, he did some other shady stuff while he was keeping her covered up. But the fact that that's given them more of an idea of his whereabouts, even if it's just from the 29th to the 3rd, how many days is that? There's 30 days in September, 29, 30, 1, 2. So in 5 days, he stole all those guns? The hell, Teardrop?
I know, and why? What's the point? To sell them? I don't.
Sell them.
Yeah, and why is Stepmom not talking?
I think because she is involved somehow. Either but I mean, even if it's guilty knowledge, they can cut her a deal. But if she's involved in the cover up, then she's
getting herself into it deeper.
she'll be nailed to the wall. There's just no getting out of that.
Right.
There's no getting out of it. All right. So I did like what the prosecutor said. This is actually going to uncover more leads if it hasn't already. Sounds to me by his verbiage, it's already opened up a couple of doors. Now remember, anybody you steal a gun from, they probably weren't supposed to have them themselves anyway, because let's look at Teardrop's circle. He's not hanging around good people.
No, not at all.
So these people don't want to speak to the police either.
No, they don't, but they may have to. I mean, did they say that their guns were missing, so they would have to be licensed for those guns, right?
I don't know. I mean, in Oklahoma, you don't have to have a license. I don't know about New Hampshire.
No, but if somebody stole your gun, say Brooks, and you wanted to declare it missing, would you be able to?
Yeah, you would call the police and say somebody stole my gun.
Okay, so
but you wouldn't wait over 2 years. I wouldn't think.
No.
No, if I saw I had a gun missing, I'd be like, well, we're going to have some problems here.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. It's like someone stealing your car and hurting someone with it. It's the exact same thing.
Well, just stealing your shit, period. That gun's registered to me. So
exactly.
if it's a pawn shop or somebody commits a crime with it, I don't want anyone to think that I loaned it to them. So I wouldn't have waited till after a child went missing to say, you know what, that dude might have my gun. He was hanging around here.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think I would have called between September 29th and October 3rd of 2019.
Yeah.
Mama Kay. Ooh, good point. You would call the police unless the guns were stolen to begin with. Yeah. Now, that makes sense.
Yeah, good point, Mama Kay. And like you said, his circle is probably not the best.
I have a feeling Teardrop does not hang around salt of the earth people.
No, I don't think he plays, gin rummy on Friday nights.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Identification! On Saturday morning, a group of volunteers searched through a wooded area off Harville Street in Manchester, hoping to find clues in a mystery that has haunted the city.
We're not expecting to find Harmony. We're hoping to find things related to Harmony.
Harmony Montgomery.
So like maybe they're looking for clothing or something like that? She said they're not expecting to find Harmony. It kind of reminds me of little Cody Bixby. How they found a jacket.
Yeah. Well, if you find something belonging to her, or that she had on, which has that even been put out? What she was wearing when she went missing? No, because nobody has said anything.
Nope, we have not heard what clothes she had on. And let's face it, in 2 years, she's not going to look like the pictures they have up. Kids grow
she's
like
not.
Weeds. Kids grow like weeds.
Yeah, they grow and they change. Their face changes. She might have different glasses. She might have a lot of things.
I have a feeling she has no glasses on. Who's been taking her to the eye doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Strife 87. Or maybe they've been used in a crime. We're going back to the guns. That makes sense too. Because for one, somebody steals from you. I don't care if it's your TV, your car, but
your cell phone.
A gun. Think about it. Those of you that are gun owners in here, that gun is registered to you. You would have, as soon as you realize that gun is missing, you have to report it, because if it gets used in a crime, you don't want to be tied to that crime. You've got to let them know. My weapon is not in my possession. I used to keep it in my nightstand. My friend Teardrop was over to play gin rummy on Friday, and now it's gone. You're not going to wait over 2 years. Not going to do it. But now this makes sense too. Strife 87, or maybe they've been used in a crime. They were talking about one weapon in Boston, one in Manchester, and a third one I have a feeling the ATF, who has been called in, will find.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at when I asked you about well, I was asking you a different question, but I meant when you buy a gun, you need to register it to your name. You need like your driver's license and all that stuff, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it would be weird that someone would wait that long to call it in and say, "Hey, my gun's gone."
No, they wouldn't wait that long.
Marie was publicly declared missing back in December, but Manchester police say she has not been seen since late 2019.
You know, I was just talking about how grateful I am, you know.
Okay, there's Crystal again. Crystal is Harmony's
Real mother.
biological mother. Now, she tried to insert herself into this as the hero. I really tried to, on this show, give Crystal a break, but when the governor's report came out that basically proved her to not be telling the truth about a lot of things, she really lost a lot of sympathy with me. But we can all agree to disagree in here.
Of course. That's what we do.
But there she is again.
Mm-hmm.
That everybody's coming together for my daughter.
Harmony's mother, Crystal Sorey, touched by the dedication from complete strangers.
To help find some answers and, you know, possibly a new lead, maybe a direction that we could go to find her.
She looks very, very similar to my daughter.
One volunteer drove all the way from Michigan to help search.
Oh, wow. This guy came all the way from Michigan to help search for little Harmony.
That's amazing.
Well, and you heard him say she looks like my daughter. You know, that would really get to you.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, it gets to me just to see her picture.
Mhm.
She doesn't look like any of my daughters, but I mean, she's just so, she's so cute and vivacious, and you know, she's. I know you want to read this comment, yeah.
Amber says she is no hero in my eyes. No, yeah, not impressed, Crystal. I understand you tried to get public sympathy, and you were telling everybody via Facebook about everything you'd been doing to try to get help from Harmony, and CPS wouldn't deal with you. They wouldn't, like, they were refusing to do well check visits. I mean, these are things that you publicly put out. You deleted your comments when people were going, that doesn't sound right. CPS letting stuff slip through the cracks isn't going to surprise anybody, but police refusing to do a well check visit doesn't. And so she starts deleting all her comments. The governor's report comes out that basically says she didn't even return phone calls from CPS.
Right.
Didn't even answer the damn phone.
Pretty bad. Or even take her voicemails and call back and say, you know, yes, I'm worried sick. Where is she? Where's my daughter?
Yeah. You miss a call. Don't you call it back if your daughter's missing?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Normally.
Just like if your gun's missing, you call the popo.
That's right. Goes hand in hand.
Carla said, you didn't care where she was for 2 years. Biomom, sickening. Yep, Biomom is sickening. Yeah. And she wants all the accolades and the pats on the back because she's been working her steps. She's in recovery. She's not an addict anymore. But in the meantime of recovery, she met yet another teardrop. I'll call him Teardrop Jr., who was abusive to her. She's victimized again, had another baby. So she had to take care of all that. So didn't really have a lot of time with, you know, her plate being full to really focus on Harmony. These are her words, not mine.
Mm-hmm. And no shame to the people that have, you know, stopped and done their steps and everything else. I think that's great.
Yep. Thank you for that. Hats off. Hats off to you for beating that or just working on it.
Yeah. But no, I don't. I personally don't think she has, and I'm pretty sure she's still using. But I mean, I have no proof. That's what I think. If you don't know where your daughter is for 2 years, you haven't had any news, no phone calls, nothing. No, there's something wrong.
especially when people are trying to call you.
Right?
We have Kayla and Adam. So Kayla told, stepmom, stepmeth, told grandmeth. Harmony lives with her mom now. Teardrop told the police when they arrested him she lives with her mom. They told CPS that. They're calling her. They're like, does she live with you? Now, mind you, it's across state lines. They did not do their due diligence and send police there to check up. But again, Crystal didn't answer the phone or return the phone call.
What can I do to help bring this over home? And when it popped up, hey, we need volunteers to search. Boots on the ground is something I can do.
The group centered their search around a park that Harmony's father, Adam Montgomery, was known to frequent.
We think that if he had anything to get rid of, he might have just quickly dropped it in there.
Adam has
That's actually a very smart move. If he had something to get rid of, he would have just dropped it over there. Now, mind you, it's been over 2 years. Lots of people have walked that ground.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to move a lot of foliage, a lot of leaves and limbs and everything, which looks like that's what they're doing. Good for them.
Yeah, good
not
for
been
them.
linked to Harmony's
I hope.
disappearance,
I
but is
really hope they find something.
Me too.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I hope they find something too.
facing charges for allegedly assaulting her in the summer of 2019. He had custody of Harmony during the time she went missing.
This is all we have, is all these events. It's all these events that we do every week or every couple of weeks, every month.
Every week, every couple of weeks, every month. Well, which is it, Crystal? Where were you, Crystal? The only thing that can be verified is your FaceTime phone call on Easter of 2019 where you dangled a basket and said, next time I see you, I'm going to give this to you. But you failed to mention Harmony's birthday, 4th of July, Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, and the next Easter. A lot of holidays go on every year.
Yeah.
With her, I lose all patience. Not nearly as bad as Teardrop and Stepmeth, but I don't.
Yeah. No, I don't. I see right through her pretending to be so sad, and right from the very beginning, she was like, "My daughter's missing." Yeah. So for 2 years, I haven't heard from her, and you couldn't even return the CPS phone call.
Uh-huh.
There's something wrong with you, honey.
And these people wouldn't be out searching for Harmony or something that could belong to Harmony or something that could belong to Teardrop that he threw away without knowing about the case. All right. So they know
Right.
about Crystal. These people are very nice that they are being so civilized and calm with her because you know that the mamas out there that are taking their time in the cold, going through all that, and the dad that drove from Michigan. My hat's off that they are being so kind to her when you know what they really want to say.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
I'd have a hard time, Deb.
Well, I would too, but by the same token, I would say, you know what? Just let's focus on trying to find something.
I'd have a hard time.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know, keeping her name out there and her face out there, hoping.
And Manchester police say there are no new leads in this case, but that it remains a top priority for their department. We're live in the Queen City tonight. Scott Cook, WMUR News 9.
Extra dry skin.
Extra dry skin? Yes, I do. Also, don't forget that biomom, Crystal. I can't find anywhere where it's been filed yet. She does have an attorney. She wants to file the CPS in New Hampshire. I'm 100% against this. I do think that there needs to be monetary compensation, but I do not think that money needs to be given to her. It needs to be put in a trust for Harmony's little brother, Jameson.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She is not to be given that money for sure. Poor little Jameson. He's been crying for his sister forever. And she was already with that family, was she not?
No, 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 no. She couldn't. She was in reunification with Adam.
Before that, though. Before that, she was with the foster family, correct?
She was with the foster family, her and Jameson. Jameson was being adopted because Crystal wanted both of her children adopted, which if you can't take care of your children and you have addiction issues, I'm not going to shame you for doing the right thing and making sure they're in good homes. Would any of us here shame Crystal for doing that? She's telling a different story now, but we know the truth.
Yeah.
So the two gentlemen that adopted Jameson also wanted to adopt Harmony. Couldn't be done because she was in contact with her biological father.
Now that part, that's where they lose me. It's like, how could you give him custody of this little girl? Like, just look at him. I don't know. I guess it takes criterias, and he met them all. I'm assuming that's what happened.
He was showing up for his visits and stuff like that. They just didn't somebody just didn't do their work. Tamara, adoption is a great choice too. And that was what Crystal was trying to do. She allowed Jameson to be adopted, but Teardrop is not Jameson's father. So both her, Crystal, and Jameson's father signed off on the adoption. They didn't want to do reunification. They're trying to get their own lives together. Good. Jameson's in a good home. He's got wonderful parents. He's going to be taken care of. He gets a second chance at life. She was doing the same thing with Harmony. But Teardrop finds out about this. He steps in. He starts reunification. So he's showing up to the meetings. I think they said there was one he missed because of weather. And then he regains custody of her.
Okay, so he regains custody of her, but then he realizes at some time that he can't take care of her because he's not being able to afford the bills and everything else going on. And he's living in a car. So wouldn't you give her up again so she could have a second chance?
I think by the time he was living in a car, because, they lived in that house in Manchester.
Right.
So they didn't start living in the car until, if Grand Meth is correct, around the end of November. And that's when she went missing. So then Kayla and the other two children move in with Grand Meth at some point. So now he's living in the car. He meets Kelsey. And we know, and now Kelsey has passed away. Because like I said, anything Teardrop touches, it just goes bad. It just goes bad.
And like I've said in the past, maybe he had people threatening her. How do we never know.
Something triggered her. I go off the comment that I read before because it makes sense. She lives in the car with him. Their whole life is figuring out their next score and their next meal. Police come and get him asking about Harmony. She's disappeared. I think when she goes to the sober home and she gets a reality check that she's been living with a man who's probably 99% responsible for Harmony's disappearance. She gets out, she gets her drug of choice, whatever it is, to cope, and they find her in the hotel.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's
crazy.
Depraved. It's depraved and it's disgusting. What the adults do to each other, you want to fight with each other, you want to live in a car, you want to cheat on each other, I don't care. Kids, animals, and old people, leave them out of it. Except for Grand Meth, because I think she knows a lot more than she says. After that show, a lot of people said I missed the whole interview with Kayla's mom. Okay, so when the case started, the very first show I did about Harmony, it was said that she's been missing since October of 2019. This interview with Kayla's mom changes that timeline. She says a lot of other things. So I'm going to go through it again. You guys are going to really love hearing from her. For one, you're
Mhm.
going to notice that she doesn't want to be bothered. Okay. Now, if
Well,
I'm
she
reaching too far or you disagree with me, please put it in the comments. What I see is a woman that does not want to be involved. She'll take care of her biological grandchildren, but didn't really have too many concerns for harmony. So here we go. Scoot that back a bit. Okay.
And she has better choices, and that's all I can say. I'm just asking you.
Okay, so she's talking about her daughter, Kayla. Just a friendly reminder. This is Kayla. All right, so Grandmeth is already defending Kayla, even though Harmony is the one that's been missing for over 2 years. She's telling us that she knows how to make better choices than that. Well, she does know, but there's a reason she didn't. All right, so, and she's defending what we're looking at on the screen. She's defending.
yeah.
She's not defending Harmony. She's defending her daughter. All right?
Right.
For the children's sake, I do pray for harmony, and I do.
For the children's sake, I do pray for harmony.
Have something come to me today for the police that I thought may help, which I did tell the police I'm not going to give that out yet because I don't want to hinder it in any way. Just please.
When did you see Harmony?
It was, I knew it was in the wintertime. I wasn't exactly sure when.
Okay, this is where she starts really tripping up. Well, one of the many times. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it was in the wintertime. Now, mind you, New Hampshire is different than my state. Wintertime here is basically January and part of February. New Hampshire has a much longer wintertime. So here we have yet another case where we don't have a date and time, but she trips herself up and totally changes the timeline for us. You guys are going to catch this. I know you are. It was in the wintertime. I knew it was in the wintertime. I wasn't exactly sure when. All right, here we go.
And when I spoke with my daughter, she was telling me it was the day after Thanksgiving.
But when I spoke with my daughter, she was telling me it was the day after Thanksgiving. Is the day after Thanksgiving when Harmony went missing? Or as Kayla and Teardrop say, she went back to live with her mother, which we know did not happen. So it was wintertime, according to Grandmeth, but she wasn't sure when. Okay, so in the wintertime, she has a good idea at least what month she's in, okay?
Well, you should. Yeah. Yeah, and Thanksgiving is in November, so it was telling me it was the day after Thanksgiving is what she said exactly.
Well, you see right here, after I spoke with my daughter. Now, let me tell you what I'm picking up from this. She did not want to say anything to the police or anyone else until she confirmed with Kayla what to say. I'm not liking this at all. I spoke with my daughter and she was telling me it was a day after Thanksgiving. But you just said it was sometime in the winter and you don't know when. That would be November.
That would be November.
I have a feeling you had turkey and stuffing and pumpkin pie.
Exactly.
You remember the Macy's Day parade and everything on your TV. You know what Thanksgiving is, Grandmeth. Don't you tease me.
Okay. That last year in 2020 or 2021?
No, that was in 2019.
But she knows the year. Very foggy about winter time and not sure when except the day after Thanksgiving. I can help her with that. I can look on the calendar really quick. Hang on. Just give me a second here. I can tell exactly the date that Kayla reminded her of. Just give me an uno momento. 2019. I just hit November. Okay, done. That would have been November 29th. That would be the day after Thanksgiving in 2019. Okay, so let's remember that date. I'm helping. I'm helping Grandmeth out.
She needs help.
Oh, she does. It's a wonder they haven't hung her up for something, or they're not, or they're not banging down her door every day. Because this
Or
interview, she's saying a lot.
Or taking the kids she's got in her custody.
Yeah, she still has her biological grandkids. She has Kayla's kids. One of them is Adam's. I think, are they both Adam and Kayla's together or just one? I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say.
I'm not sure. Maybe Chat knows.
Okay, so we've confirmed November 29th. So we can forget her being all, but she knew the year. No, that was 2019. Okay, that's a definitive statement. Now watch your hands flap around. She's protecting herself because she knows that she has known something all along, even if she suspected it, and she knows she's being called out. Okay.
And you can hear the person asking the question saying, but you never saw her again? Like, yeah.
Yeah. You asked your daughter where she was after that, but you never saw her again.
But you never saw her again, and you never, yeah, I don't know what it leads to, but I'm just saying, just that question is very telling. Like, but you never saw her again? You know, it doesn't make sense. Especially if you're living in a car and you're going over to grandma's for Thanksgiving. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't work in my brain, but
No, and police have been to talk to her. So, I mean, I think when she says that, you know, she talked to them, when she mentioned the day after Thanksgiving, she gives us another date on here. It was shortly after on the news that they changed the timeline. That could only come from her after this interview.
right. When the police chief stood up and said he's not going to let this go, right? He was very upset.
No, that's a different interview. Camaro Lover 73. Why is he being called Teardrop? Because he has a tattoo of a teardrop under his eye on his face. I just put the picture up again.
She told me that because they came here the end of December during the holidays.
Okay, I'm really confused about this. Again, she doesn't know wintertime. It's in wintertime, but not sure. She asked her daughter about Harmony. She said it was the day after Thanksgiving. So that was November 29th, 2019. Now she says they came here on the end of December during the holidays. Okay. All right. So she did not see Harmony the day after Thanksgiving. No, I'm not blaming Grand Meth. I think that she has a lot more knowledge than she's willing to give up because she does not want her daughter in jail for life.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were here briefly.
Okay, so she said they were there briefly. So that
would be between the 25th and the 31st.
Yeah.
That would be the holidays.
It's the only holidays I can think of that, you know, between, she's not talking about Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Boxing Day. So the holidays would be between Christmas and New Year's. So, all right. So let's say they were there for a week. I don't know. So it would be Teardrop, Stepmeth, and their 2 children. The 2 children they have with them.
After I'm like, well, I expected Harmony to do that. And they said no.
Okay, now she's talking really fast. I asked her, I'm like, well, I expected Harmony she expected Harmony to be with them. So let's see what they told her.
Oh, and I know they've been kind of living on the streets. And
she knows that they've been living on the streets. Who cares about Teardrop? And really, who cares about Kayla? Okay? But your 2 grandchildren, they've been living on the streets. She's admitting this.
Yeah, she is.
She's admitting this.
I mean, what kind of person?
We know Adam and Kayla were living there. Or they came there. I don't know if they lived there. I can't remember yet. Hang on.
In a car kind of thing. And well, she didn't say no. She said she's with her mother. And I didn't question it.
Okay, so this was a story contrived by Teardrop and Stepmeth. Okay, so Adam and Kayla contrived this story because it's the only story they've stuck to. She's with her mother. Harmony's with her mother. That's what he told the police. It's what Kayla told Grand Meth. And again, I guess they told her together.
Because I didn't know until all the news, the history of the family. And Adam, for the first couple of years, was some sweet guy, and he's not. He is pure.
What brought you to that conclusion that he's
Yeah.
not some sweet guy? She said, and he's not. He's pure evil. Well, what brought you to that conclusion? Did you
I
just come
can't.
to that conclusion when you found out that Harmony's been missing for over 2 years?
Yeah, I can't imagine where she got that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take one look at him and say, "That's your boyfriend?" Yeah, no, not happening, or your husband, or whatever. I don't know. I
Camara Lover 73. Just calling by his dang name, it's stupid. So I owe him respect after what he's done to Harmony? You're insulted and offended that I'm calling him out for what he is? He has a teardrop on his face, a teardrop tattoo. I can think of a lot of other names I can call him. Sorry
Mhm.
you're offended. Actually, sorry, not sorry. This guy is garbage. He is a garbage human being who has lied for over 2 years and is still lying about where his daughter is. I don't know why you would care what anyone calls him. I don't know why you would care.
Evil. He is pure evil.
He is pure
So
evil.
I really, really hope the information that came to me today and that can help in the search for Harmony. And that's really where my prayers are now, because my grandchildren will be with me, so I'm not going to be worried about them. And just please respect the privacy.
Yeah.
This is so scary for.
Do you think?
Oh, I'm sure it is very scary, but it's like you haven't asked about Harmony for over 2 years. Like you really had the assumption, which I don't believe. Okay, let me take that back. I don't believe the grandma thought that Harmony was really missing or in harm's way. I do believe she was only concerned about her biological grandkids, and Harmony was an afterthought. And I like you said, just please respect the privacy, which I do agree with that, because there's 2 children in the home that she's taking care of. Harmony's not there. So yeah, it is scary. I'll give her that.
Do you think Harmony's still alive?
I hope and pray she's still alive, but it's been 2 years. So I don't know.
You got to be heartbroken over this.
I'm distraught. My body's been shaking every couple hours because I can't get.
I'm sure her body has been shaking every couple of hours because she's got police that want to talk to her about a timeline when she saw Harmony, when that wonderful set of parents, Teardrop and Stepmom, were living with her, their living conditions, what car they were living in, what they told her about Harmony. I'm sure her body's shaking because she probably at this point has a feeling her daughter is involved. She wouldn't be acting this defensive if she didn't think her daughter was involved. Exactly. She knows her daughter's in jail, and she also is smart enough to know that re-registering Harmony for food stamps is not something that's going to get you locked up with a cash bond, $5,000.
No, they have something else for sure.
She knows that because she watches the local news. I've played the news clips where they've explained that's not normal procedure.
Right.
She's also heard the prosecutor say Kayla is not talking because she knows what we're about to find out.
Yeah, but I mean,
she knows this is going to turn out really, really bad.
What grandmother does that? Like, who does that? Who acts like that?
Somebody that wants to cover for their adult child as opposed for covering for the little girl. No, I say covering, except for standing up for the little girl that's been missing for over 2 years. She should be outraged. She's just like, oh, he's evil. He's evil. She should be like, you know what? I'm done with my daughter. I'm done with him. Yep, I believe that she was with her mother. I asked about her several times. They just kept saying she's fine with her mother. I want nothing to do with them.
That's right. Exactly. But no, she goes on and on. She gives too much information, which is a sign of lying.
Mm-hmm. Get away from it. You know what I mean? I can't not check the news. I want to know what's going on.
So right there, she's like, I can't not check the news because she wants to find out what the vibe is with her daughter. Of course, I'm sure she wants to know if they find Harmony, because that's what everybody wants, to find Harmony. But she wants to know what they're saying about Kayla. She does.
Oh yeah.
I'd wash my hands of that mess so quick.
Sure.
Especially when she just said in this interview, and then I asked my daughter, and she said it was the day after Thanksgiving, so she had to check with her. Now that's Kayla saying the last time she saw her. That's not her, because they didn't come till the end of December.
Have spoken to me several times.
Do you think your daughter had any involvement in her disappearance?
Kayla told me that just as in her affidavit,
just as in her affidavit. But if you lie on an affidavit, you're in trouble. That might be coming down the pike. So she knows what Kayla has said, and she's going to repeat that. Hold on, because she is defending her daughter. She's not advocating for Harmony. You very rarely hear her mention Harmony in this interview. Everything is about Kayla, Kayla, Kayla.
Drilled my daughter, believe me, I asked. With her.
I drilled my daughter, believe me, I asked. With her. Oh, do tell us.
Her history, yeah, she used to be a liar. But I know how to get the truth out of my daughter. This bothers me to no end, especially when the prosecutors have said they need information from these two. Not just him, but her. If she knows how to get the truth out of her, why is Kayla still sitting there? Why is Stepmom still sitting there? If she knows how to get the truth out of her.
Exactly.
But she used to lie.
She used to be a liar, but now she's changed. She doesn't lie anymore.
She used to be a liar, but she's not a liar anymore.
No, and
she knows how to get the truth out of her.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, look right there. Does it look like Kayla has any shits to give? Her eyes are all rolled back in her head and looks like she's been chewing on her tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Lone Wolf, you're right. Unfortunately, blood is more important than a kid. To some of these people, it really is.
That's blood is thicker than water.
Stepchildren get abused and ignored. Grandkids that don't belong. I don't think anybody in here is that way, but it is extremely common.
It is, for sure.
So right there, she tells us she used to be a liar. She even mentions with her history, meaning substance abuse, she used to be a liar. But she knows how to get the truth out of her. Well, she's been in jail since January, February, March, April. So in 3 months, she can't get her to tell the prosecutors what's really going on. Because have no fear. They're not worried about the welfare fraud. They're worried about Harmony.
That's right.
That's not why they're going through all this.
That's not why she's in jail.
The youngest daughter, and Harmony was with me. He dropped her off at work and he said to her, I'm bringing Harmony to her mother.
Let's listen to that again. This is what her daughter told her.
The youngest daughter, her daughter wasn't born yet, and Harmony was with him. He dropped her.
Okay, so she was pregnant with their youngest child, their daughter.
Right.
Harmony was with him. She's putting everything on Adam. The onus on Adam. She didn't see any of this. She's telling what Kayla said. Why are they still holding Kayla in jail? Why did they give her a cash bond, call her a flight risk, and say she knows what we're going to find out? But she's going to repeat what Kayla said. Was the baby wasn't born yet in 2019, and Harmony was with him. And he dropped.
He said to her, I am bringing Harmony to her mother.
So Kayla is pregnant. He drops her off at work and says, I'm taking Harmony to her mother.
Doesn't say why, anything like that.
No.
Doesn't ask Grandmeth if she could maybe, to look after her Harmony, because right now he's not able to.
And then he came back later, I don't know how many hours, I don't know that she was working at a Dunkin' Donuts. I've given all that information to the police, but Kayla said, where is he? She didn't say where she is, but I don't know.
But Kayla said, where is she? She didn't say where. He didn't say where. He just said he's taken her to her mother. Where'd you think she went?
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah.
ask? Hey, I
Why would
forget stuff too, but something like that, I'd be like, hey, how was the trip down there? Is she happy to see her mom?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So he picks her up after work and she asks where she's at. Well, I missed that the first couple of times we watched this.
That's why
Why
we watch.
why would you have to ask? He already said I'm taking her to her mom's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so confused right now.
And when do you think that happened?
In my mind, from what I've tried to gather, and all the media has been great with trying to get all the information out there, and the social media I thought has been great too. But I think it happened like in a week period. And
What happened in a week period? What do you guys think, chat? What happened in a week period? Why would it take a week to take Harmony down to Crystal's house from Manchester, New Hampshire down to Lowell, Mass? Not a long drive. It happened in a week.
In a week.
Yet she also says he dropped her off at work at Dunkin' Donuts and said, I'm taking her to her mother's, picks her up after work, and she has to ask where she's at. Now we hear this happened in a period of a week. I'm pretty sure by now the police have checked the work schedule at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Lisa said, it happened is ominous.
And I think it happened from December 6th till prior to December 6th. So December 6th.
Okay, she's already mentioned the day after Thanksgiving. That was November 29th. Now she says, I think it happened December 6th. Now she says prior to December 6th. I don't expect her to know because obviously she wasn't there.
Right.
But she's adding a lot of confusing details because I don't believe this woman believes her daughter's not involved. If it was cut and dry, I'd be like, look, this is what Kayla told me. He dropped her off at work at Dunkin' Donuts. She didn't know the exact date. Police are looking into it. And he was taking Harmony down to her mother's. He picked her up after work. Then they went and had dinner or whatever.
Exactly.
But now we have all these confusing details. I spoke to my daughter and she said it was the day after Thanksgiving. Now she says December 6th and she's like, no, prior to December 6th.
Yeah.
Anytime after Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving is December 6th. So it's like.
That's what changed the timeline. Exactly what she's saying right here. They kept saying end of October 2019. This is what changed it. It was just a few days after this. They said we have a new timeline. So if you have seen these two cars, if you have seen Adam Montgomery, Kayla Montgomery, especially Harmony Montgomery, we need to know ASAP.
This is the 30th of the month, so it's like 6 to 7 days. So I think something happened that week, and I don't know what day. I asked the police if they checked.
Odd that she has to mention the 30th of the month as if it's important. I don't know if that's when benefits were coming in or what, but she does bring that up without being asked.
That's right. Yeah.
She said, I asked the police if they checked. Listen.
Checked my daughter's records because
my daughter's records. What records would they be checking?
Yeah, she's home with you. Well, Adam's out doing his job. Is that correct?
They were living in a car at the time, I believe, and he was dropping her off at Dunkin', picked her up later because they didn't come to live with her. They stayed a few days at the end of December. I think she means phone records.
Oh, maybe. Could be.
My children are brought up where they have to tell the truth and they have to fess up. And my daughter has broken every time for me in the past.
She hasn't this time because they are holding her on a cash bond since January, February, March, April. Again, 3 months. My daughter has fessed up and broken every time for me in the past. My children were brought up to tell the truth. Kayla's a drug addict. She can't tell the truth.
Drug addicts don't tell the truth. Exactly.
Can't do it.
About
I mean,
anything.
I'm sure there's moments of clarity, but she can't possibly.
No.
And I said to her, I said, you sure? I said, what couple doesn't communicate about this and so forth? And I know those are my questions out there. I don't want to judge her, but I don't know what her part was on this. But
I don't know what her part was on this. Okay, so we go from having no idea, but it was sometime in the wintertime, to my daughter told me it was the day after Thanksgiving. Then we hear the 30th. Then prior to December 6th. Then we have some details. He drops her off at work at Dunkin' Donuts, says he's taking Harmony to her mother's house. When she gets off work, picks her up. She asks, where's Harmony? As if they didn't have this conversation. The grandma even says, what couple doesn't communicate about this? Then she goes on and she slips this. Look at her face. Like she's really like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what her part was on this.
Well, she just said she was confused just before this. I'm confused.
I'm confused. I got to turn my mic off when I play this. Hang on.
Okay.
Do you believe her? She's staying very, very consistent in what she's saying.
She said she's staying very, very consistent on what she's saying. Maybe to her mother, but to the authorities, she's not, because they're the ones saying that even if it's 2 a.m, they want to talk to them. They're saying their attorneys know how to get a hold of them. They're saying Kayla won't talk to us because she knows that we're going to find out.
I can tell by her, I'm her mom, you know? I can tell.
So that whole drop-off, you're saying that's between Thanksgiving, December 6th?
Day after Thanksgiving and before December 6th.
2019.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's the significance of December 6th that makes that date stick in your head?
That day was reminded to me by my daughter because they were homeless and they needed a place to come. And I said, well, I don't really have a room, my landlord. So they were just here during the holiday, during that time frame.
You said Adam.
So she remembers December 6th because they wanted to come live with her on that day? Hang on. What did I hear? They were homeless. Okay.
Homeless and they needed a place to come. And I said, well, I don't really have a room, my landlord. So they were just here during the holiday, during that time frame.
You said Adam is the devil. Why do you say that?
He can sweet talk and swindle like he did with us for the 2 years. And then everything he points the finger at everybody else and talks up quite the storm. And it's a lot of, he talks like jail talk. That's all I can
What
say.
about abuse? The allegation yesterday was he was abusive towards Harmony.
I don't know about that because I didn't have much when
It cuts off there. Okay, so I saw a question. Did Harmony ever live with her dad and Kelsey in the car? There is no evidence, information, or anything that Kelsey ever saw Harmony. She was with Adam for a little bit over a year. So the end of 2021 to, so the end of 2020 to the end of 2021, Harmony went missing at the end of November of 2019. Yep. The dad and stepmom are in custody. They are.
Yes, they are.
So that
Thank
is
God.
what we have got. That's what we've got. New charges for Adam. Teardrop. He did it again. Weapons charges. Of course, we have felony assault against Harmony, which should have been done in the summer of 2019. Kayla still sits on recertifying benefits for Harmony, even though Harmony wasn't in her custody. And that's crazy that they're keeping her like that unless they believe she's involved and they're trying to get her to crack and talk.
That's what I think. That's what I believe.
Oh, yeah,
And that's-
absolutely. I mean,
That's what I hope.
$5,000 cash bond, she doesn't even owe that much to the state.
To the welfare fraud, right.
She was like, I think $1,500. Amber Rose, I'm confused. Which one died? On the last show, we talked about this. Kelsey, Adam's new girlfriend. See, him and Kayla broke up after Harmony disappeared, after she went missing. He met another woman. Her name is Kelsey Smalls, and she died. They found her in a hotel room early in March. Hang on, I'm going to drop the link if anybody wants to come up. If anybody has a question, wants to come up, they can. Yeah, the current girlfriend. She's the one that passed away. And I just think that woman, when she realized that she already had to have known he's not a good dude. All right. I'm sure they had plenty of problems living in the car. I think it probably shook her up when she went to the sober house and started putting together what he is more than likely involved in. Whoa, Beck offered her a deal today? What's the deal? They offered Kayla a deal today? Hang on, let me look this up. Hang on. Beck, grab the link. Kayla Montgomery. Just give me a second. Oh. Well, let's look at this. Huh. Let's see. We're going to read this together. Yeah. Wow. Thanks, Beck. Kayla Montgomery, stepmom to missing Harmony, offered a plea deal in benefits deception case. Prosecutors have offered a plea deal to the New Hampshire woman accused of claiming her missing stepdaughter, Harmony Montgomery, as a dependent to fraudulently receive extra welfare benefits from the state. And, okay, the details of the plea agreement made recently by prosecutors were not disclosed at the short dispositional conference held Thursday morning in the Northern District Courthouse of Hillsborough County Superior Court, nor when the deal was offered. There's a status hearing on June 9th. Montgomery was indicted on a felony charge of theft by deception on March 22nd. We talked about that on the last show. She's accused of receiving more than $1,500 in New Hampshire state aid for Harmony's benefit over the course of November 30th, 2019. Odd that her mother mentioned the date, the 30th. She specifically mentioned that to June 2nd, 2021. That's a long time. Well, that's like a year and a half, a time period in which Harmony was already missing. The discovery process for evidence in this case is for the most part complete and has already grown to nearly 3,500 pages of material and 70 to 80 media discs. Well, is she going to take the plea?
We can only hope.
Sounds like she's not. They're putting this out here.
But they don't say what the plea is. Is for what? Like, did she say, did she get, like, if you tell us where Harmony is, then...
It says there's no details available. They're not telling us what they offered her. It could be a lighter sentence if you tell us. It could be if we go straight to her, you tell us exactly where she is, we'll wipe all this clean. If she took the plea, then this would be over for Kayla, don't you think? But they're having a status hearing in June. Why would Kayla want to sit there until June?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it does make sense if you're guilty.
It makes sense if you're guilty, but it means that she didn't take the plea. That's what I mean.
Due to the sheer size of the discovery, defense attorney Paul Garrity, I'm assuming that's who represents Kayla, asked for 60 days to review the evidence. Oh, so they haven't considered the plea offer. He wants to go through all the evidence. It can only have to do with it can only involve Harmony. They already know They already know that she was taking benefits for a year and a half for Harmony. That's they already know that. So there's something else hinging on this. So when they say we've got, I mean, how many pages? Let me see. 3,500 pages of material and 70 to 80 media discs. That has nothing to do with the welfare fraud.
No, it doesn't. But
That'd
he,
be
as
like
as
that'd be like one binder. She recertified in November, then she recertified 6 months later, then 6 months later, then she didn't recertify. That'd be pretty easy. This is something else. They've got something else on her, and they're playing hardball because I'm really going to look at this because the fact that her and her attorney didn't just hop on this to get her out of jail earlier or today means there's something else there. Wow, Beck, thank you for that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, yeah, and as her lawyer, he does have to present the plea deal to her. So I don't understand that either. But I guess it's
Well,
like you said,
let's see here. He does have to present any offer to his client, but if it's
yes.
if you tell us where Harmony is, we'll let you go today. That'd be a pretty easy one, don't you think?
I think it would be yeah. Just tell her, look, this is
You're
what
not gonna let
that.
the client sit there for 2 months. You're going to say, hey,
Yeah,
look, we're willing to let you go today if you tell them this. It's not going to take 70 to 80 media discs and 3,500 pages of discovery over your $1,500 welfare fraud.
exactly.
Exactly.
So they're hitting her with more charges and they're playing hardball, like you said.
I didn't hear anything about more charges. They're offering her a deal.
Well, they're offering her a deal, but he's got to go through all the discovery and the discs, and so before even letting her know about the plea deal, it sounds like there's more charges.
Well, it says she could be charged with more charges. So could it be? Because like I said, the article's vague. And these are misdemeanor charges. These are misdemeanor charges. That's not something that's going to land you in jail for the rest of your life. It'd be, I mean, it's one or the other. We're gonna wipe away these 8 misdemeanor charges, and then you'll just serve time for this. Or I mean, there's some sort of offer there, but I don't know. He wants
For some reason, yeah. For some reason, her lawyer feels the need to go through the discovery before presenting it to his client, which is, I don't know, it's odd to me.
Well, no, it's not. It's not because an attorney has to present the offer to the client. And if the client's like, oh, hell yeah, I'll take this. But if they're like, can't do it, then they have to do a stall. They have to do a stall. And like he's saying, hey, this is 3,500 pages and 70 to 80 discs. I need time to go through this. So we'll probably be hearing about additional charges soon. Camaro, do we know how long they were living in the car? I'm not sure when they were evicted from the house in Manchester. They did go to stay with her mother for a time, and then her and Adam broke up. Adam's been living in a car, well, I mean, for almost 2 years. So where she's been at the whole time, I don't know. I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a long time. So I'm going to take that article and I'm going to post it on the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook page. And in the meantime, I'm going to shut this down. I've kept you guys for a long time today. 2 shows.
Love 2 shows.
It. Mm-hmm.
We love it. We love seeing you guys.
And just me. This child needs help. Either way, we need to find her. Yeah.
Yes.
And when they say this is rescue, this isn't search and recovery. Seems to me that they're leaning towards she's out there alive somewhere. Wow.
They might got an intel from somewhere. Somebody might have given them some intel.
No, that's what detectives do. They find evidence and they get the facts together and they put together a case.
Yeah. So They're giving her a plea deal. It's for a reason. It's not for welfare fraud, like you said.
Nope.
You
It's
know,
to get
tell her
her a
where.
job and to find harmony.
Yeah, find harmony. And we'll let you out today. And her lawyer probably would have said, okay, this is a pretty good deal. You know, and she's saying, no, no, no. Maybe she said, I don't know what she's saying. I can't imagine, you know, I'm not there. I can't say what was going on between the lawyer and the client. Besides, it's privileged, but.
Well, I think the proof's in the pudding. She didn't take the deal, and they're having a status conference in June. She's probably involved in Harmony's disappearance. She's been sitting there and not talking all this time. Sue, if they don't have hard charge and her evidence don't show, it'd be domino of dismiss. Well, but she's still sitting there. But we're going to talk about it more. I'm going to be on vacation for a couple of weeks, but I'll bounce in here and there. So it's not going to be 9 o'clock every morning, but I definitely want to hear more about this plea deal. This has really got me going. Beck, thank you. Thank you for telling me about this article. Well, Deb, I'll see you over in Discord in a little bit.
All right. Thanks for having me up.
Thanks, honey buns.
Bye.
Bye. Hey, guys, thanks for being here for 2 shows today. Man, this with Harmony is so crazy. Of course, it's crazy with Summer, too. Just me. That's exactly right. That's the elephant in the room. No one sits in jail if they don't have to. Joanne, you're right. Make the 2 deceitful ones talk the truth. Yeah, shake them. Shake them up. She's not going to take a plea deal? She's not going to take a plea deal? Who wouldn't want their freedom? That's crazy. I don't know. But anyway, thank you so much, mods. You are the best mod squad on YouTube. And you guys, as always, are the best community and best chat, hands down. And YouTube's a big, big place. Mama K, no show in the AM? Yep, 2 shows tomorrow. I've got one at 9 a.m. I just haven't posted them yet. And then we have a members live at noon. So grab your membership link and never miss that. Never miss that. Oh, hang on, Deborah. Deborah said, you're on vacation next week, so I might get some cleaning done. Nope, I'm still going to bother you guys. Still going to bother you guys. I'm going to pop in here and there. All right, speaking of popping in here and there, I'm going to go post this article on the Facebook page, Crime Lines and Lies on Facebook, in the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group. A lot of people have been joining. Then I'll see you guys over in Discord and see you 2 times again tomorrow. Thanks again. You guys are the best. Bye-bye.